Good afternoon. Welcome to the 56th Annual SEAHO Conference. It is my pleasure to officially open our 56th gathering as an association. Like many of you, I've been counting down the days to this moment since our last gathering in Jacksonville. And I'm not sure a better way to show that excitement than with my official SEAHO cowbell. I consider SEAHO to be my professional home, and I know many consider this week to be a bit of a family reunion. My hope is that whether this is your first SEAHO or your 20th SEAHO, that you will leave this place feeling inspired, empowered, and energized, and to truly know that what you do is important and to feel a part of the SEAHO family and able to call this your SEAHO professional home. I'd like to take just a moment this afternoon to thank our sponsors for today's lunch. Clark Nexon, Savoy, Guidebook, Nova Polymers, and JRA Architects. And please give them a round of applause. I'd also like to thank our Southwest Contract as our keynote sponsor this afternoon. Please give them a round of applause. So I'm going to take a moment to also recognize all of our 2020 sponsors. So you're going to see coming up our platinum sponsors. You're going to see our gold sponsors. You're also going to see our silver sponsors that have been scrolling on the screen. I am asking, as a former corporate partner chair, for you to take time out of your schedule to visit them in the exhibit hall, to go by and thank them for participating in SEAHO, to thank our sponsors directly. They are what helps keep this conference one of the cheapest, most affordable housing professional conferences in the country, and I want to thank them for all their help. Let's give them all a round of applause. A special congratulations. You saw a lot of things going on the screen earlier, right? You saw a lot of information scrolling when you walked in, maybe got to take a few shots of things. I want to give a special congratulations to the 2019 RELI participants that were listed, the 2019 STARS College participants that were noted, and the 2020 NHTI participants that were noted. Yeah. You also saw the SEAHO Service Award winners listed throughout the opening slide, and those certificates will be given to state reps and given out at the state meetings on Thursday. Some of you have been here a few days as SEAHO placement made a return to SEAHO yesterday. We had 33 employers, 40 candidates, and 54 total positions posted in our online SEAHO Career Center platform. That's exciting. We look forward to seeing how this valuable asset to SEAHO will continue to develop in the future. There have been a number of individuals who have been working and planning diligently for you for the past year. If you're a member of the SEAHO Executive Board, Governing Council, Host Committee, or a standing part of the Host Committee in terms of function for the association, please stand at this time. Thank you for your continued commitment and dedication to the association. I have the pleasure to share information about a new award that was approved Tuesday at the Governing Council meeting. The SEAHO Mentor Award will be a new and great way to recognize those that mentor on our campus and or across the region. We think that this award will be able to highlight the great work of individuals, some that may or may not be able to make it to SEAHO, but to continue to talk about the mentorship that we do in this profession and to be able to recognize that at next year's awards presentation. I also get the pleasure to announce 3 scholarships that were recently formed this past year. The RELI 2015 cohort came together to honor Franz Solomon Jr. Franz was a housing professional who attended RELI 2015 as a participant. He passed away suddenly last May. The cohort decided that it was meaningful for them to represent him in the 2020 RELI group. They came together to put a scholarship forward for the association, so one RELI participant this coming summer will be given the F. Solomon Memorial Scholarship for RELI 2020. Later in our lunch, we'll continue to talk about some of the great giving opportunities here, but just a few months prior to this conference, we received a phone call about the interest in another scholarship. This scholarship is from SEAHO past president, 1995, Gary Kimball, who's with us today. Yeah. Gary had a commitment to how do we continue to help graduate students and those that are involved stay involved in SEAHO. So Gary has committed for the next 10 years that the Graduate Student of the Year will receive a $200 scholarship with their award to help offset other costs and things that may come their way as they're in the job search. So that $200 scholarship will be given to this year's Graduate Student of the Year winner. In addition, Gary's gift has allowed us to give 10 years of $200 travel scholarships to those on the Governing Council to help offset the mid-year conference that we have. We're fortunate to be in a volunteer organization, but know that being involved means extra travel. And so this mid-year scholarship is going to allow some of those state reps, committee members, and other members of the Governing Council an opportunity to travel with a little bit more ease. Please give Gary a big round of applause. He's not happy that I have put this on screens, but I felt it was really important to recognize his great gift to us. So thank you so much, Gary. You got a little bit of a sneak peek, but at each annual conference, you will note the presentation of 2 special items that serve as important SEAHO symbolic reminders. They preside over all formal gatherings and are passed from president to president as a symbol of the caretaking of our association. The Crow Mag is placed on stage next to the podium at all SEAHO conference events. It was hand-carved in 2004 as a gift to SEAHO by a corporate partner, Jim Anderson, who was with Fantagraph at the time. The accompanying letter of dedication stated, "I leave with you as a reminder for you to continue building the future of SEAHO on the pillars of education. Our Crow Mag is carved in the style of a Celtic walking stick, commonly referred to as a Crow Mock, but here in the South, and especially in Gavin's world, it became Crow Mag. The 2-step blanket is believed that this mystical steed, and literally, look at that steed, first made its appearance and was mentioned in 1978 by our first treasurer, Bob Stewart. He used the horse as an analogy to bridge the structure needed for sound budgetary practices and the decidedly loose organization of SEAHO at the time by reporting the budget in terms of race winnings and losses, cost of votes, and trainer expenses. Stewart kept all entertained in the reporting as the tradition continued from year to year. A personalized horse blanket was created and donated to the association. While no one wrote the date down, it is believed that this occurred at SEAHO 1984 during an opening ceremony in this very city at Churchill Downs. This blanket is transferred annually with the expectation that both SEAHO and our horse two-step will flourish and prosper in the upcoming year. At this time, I get the distinct pleasure to welcome this year's conference coordinator, Renee, from the national champions, Louisiana State University, to the stage to officially welcome you to Louisville. Thank you very much, and here's Renee.
Welcome. You guys are finally here. Woo! Go SEAHO. It's true. I am a Tiger and I bleed purple and gold. I have been at LSU for 15 years. However, right here in Kentuckiana is my home. And so it is so amazing to welcome my family to my home. Welcome to Louisville, Kentucky. So this year, you guys have overwhelmed our greatest expectations. We have broken the SEAHO record for delegates at currently, with walk-ins still coming, 702. We have 93 graduate students currently. Very excited about that. And we have 86 corporate partners. Very excited about that. Wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping about the hotel itself before I get into some more exciting news. One, I just want to tell you, the Omni has an initiative, and if you stayed in Omnis in the past, wait, how about this Omni? I mean, come on. Were you not wowed from the moment you walked in the door? And as you walk through, notice all of the little Louisville touches from the bourbon, everybody loves the bourbon, impact. That if you'll notice, the gold rings and lines through a lot of their carpets represent like the cup stain from the bourbon glass. They've just got little nuances through the whole hotel, and it's so amazing. But Omni, as a national corporation, international corporation, has an initiative to make a smaller footprint on the earth and on the environment. And you'll see little touches, like for instance, there are no tablecloths on your table today. That is not because the Omni wants to save a few bucks, but because they want to save the footprint. All right. Also, you have the green choice in your room, and so you can hang your tag and let them know that they don't need to change linens and all of those things in your room if that's an option. So just a couple things to let you know about. Some of you that were here yesterday may have noticed the Omni, and I'm sure we can all relate to this from our own campuses, is experiencing a little bit of technology issue right now. So what happened at noon yesterday, they are anticipating may happen again today at noon, where some of your cards will dump for whatever reason, and they haven't figured out the reason yet. If that happens, your card will not work on the elevator. So that is your first indication that something has happened with your card. If your card doesn't work on the elevator, don't waste your time riding with somebody else up to your room. Go ahead and go to the front desk and rescan your card to get it activated. Let's see. If the gym is a little busy and the great DEI programs that happen at 6:30 are just a little earlier than your taste, you can call the front desk and have a fitness kit delivered to your room, free of charge. They're pretty nifty. I've gotten one. Something that's not specific to the Omni, but is within the house of the Omni, I wanted to make note of our horse. Typically, our blanket crosses over a quilt rack that the host team is always responsible to bring. And we were quite excited when we arrived to see this horse standing in the window of Miller & Company downstairs. And we dreamed about using it, but we never thought they'd agree, and they did. So if you guys could go by and just say thanks, and maybe a little patronage to Miller and Company while you're here, to say thanks for letting us throw our blanket on a real horse. Also, while you're enjoying the amazing restaurants and bars that are located here in the Omni, if you guys haven't been in Pen and Proof yet, you gotta go check it out. That speakeasy is something to see. They will be serving a special drink, the two-step old-fashioned, named after our very own two-step. So enjoy. So tonight, y'all, tonight is gonna be the party of the century. Are you ready? Do not miss the MAC event tonight. We will be going to the Muhammad Ali Center. We will have buses out front. They will begin departing promptly at 6, and they will run continuously. The last bus will leave the Muhammad Ali Center at 10 p.m. They will be running continuously. So if it's not out there when you step out there, there'll be one coming soon. It's not a far distance over to the Muhammad Ali Center. It's gonna be cold, it's gonna be rainy, and we just really like for you to use the bus service for your safety and for, I'm a mama, I need to sleep at night, okay? Tonight, we wanted to do something a little different to make sure you guys attend. So we will not be serving heavy hors d'oeuvres. We will have dinner at the MAC. So prepare to eat. It's gonna be a tapas style, however you say that. So there will be different selections, a lot of local flavors. You can walk around and try different things, but it will be heavy enough food that you can call that a meal. There will also be a cash bar, so bring your cards or your cash if you would like to have some additional beverages. At your table, you will see a little piece of candy. If you'll remember, if you were returning and you were with us in Jacksonville, we enticed you to get here with the little bourbon ball, which I don't think we have to tell you much about the bourbon traditions of Louisville. What you have sitting at your table today, its official name is the Majeska, and it's spelled M-O-D-J-E-S-K-A, and it was actually created by a confectionery here in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's a marshmallow dipped in caramel. And it was named for a Shakespearean actress. However, I'm very familiar that over the years, Majeska has gotten contorted in many fun ways, and a lot of people locally will call them Majestics. And my 95-year-old grandmother, who lives right across the river in Indiana, will often ask me if I brought her a Majestic when I come to visit. So I hope you guys enjoy that favorite confection. We are so excited you're here. I will be talking to you throughout the week. You guys enjoy Louisville, make some friends, make some new family. Go SEAHO.
Hello, SEAHO. My name is Nairi Tryman. I serve as your president-elect, and I am here. Thank you. I am here to get the SEAHO Award started. So a couple of instructions for people who are going to be receiving awards today. When you hear your name called, please come up, obviously, and get your award. There is a picture station set up just out this door to my right. So please go out, and award presenters, please go with them, and you can take a picture out there. There's better lighting, and we also have to make sure that we're moving forward with our program. So those are the instructions for now, and we're gonna start with our first award. Presenters, you know what you're presenting, so I'd ask you to be ready to come up, and we're gonna start with the SEAHO Peace Award, and I think that one is given by Mr. Byron. So Byron, if you'll come up.
All right, thank you for that introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody feeling? I hope y'all are enjoying the food. Okay, or not. It's fine with me, because I already ate. All right, so on behalf of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, I am proud to present this year's Peace Award, which stands for Providing Educational Advocacy for Cultural Excellence Award. This award is presented to a member to honor and recognize outstanding contributions and service to the SEAHO region through an advancement of diversity and multiculturalism. Such advancement can be attributed to advocacy, leadership, mentorship, educational initiatives, and programming. The recipient must have been a member of the SEAHO institution for at least one full academic year and will have demonstrated exceptional service in the areas of diversity and multiculturalism on their home campus and or to SEAHO. I'd like to share a few excerpts from the recipient's nomination letter. And before I do that, I just want to say thank you all that did submit recommendations. It was a really tough year to find a winner, but our committee was able to do that. And this year's recipient, the recipient's commitment to students is evident in everyday work. They are able to accomplish this by how they mentor students of color on their campus and sacrifice their own time and energy to help create a sense of home for students who can sometimes feel isolated on our predominantly white campus. Please join me in congratulating this year's award winner, Crystal Harvey.
Good afternoon, SEAHO. My name is April Barnes, and I work at the University of South Carolina. I am here on behalf of the Awards and Recognition Committee to present the Humanitarian Award. This award recognizes an individual or group of individuals within SEAHO who has or have gone above and beyond the call of duty for a student in crisis by demonstrating physical effort, spiritual commitment, or an act of bravery, determination, and courage. I would like to share a few excerpts from this recipient's nomination letters. When I think of how to show this person's incredible patience and grace, one particular example comes to mind. An apartment of students had multiple major facility issues involving major flooding and damage to personal property. I think we can all relate. This person could easily have just facilitated a move to a different apartment and been done with the issue. However, they chose to go to the student's apartment at 2 a.m. to help them quickly move all of their belongings out of the flooded apartment and into more appropriate accommodations. I feel that I should also add that these students were not particularly nice before or after the issue. No, it happens. The nominee was still willing to do whatever they could do to make the situation right. They went so far as to buy laundry detergent out of pocket to ensure that the students would be able to clean all of their belongings. Please join me in congratulating this year's award winner, Shannon Coleman from Mars Hill University. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ashley Owens, and I'm the chair of the Graduate Student Issues and Involvement Committee. On behalf of the committee, I am proud to present the Outstanding Graduate Student Award. This award gives special recognition to an individual who, through dedicated service to their home institution, has shown dedication to the profession and the students that they serve. The recipient of this award must be in at least their second year of graduate work and be employed by a housing department of an institution in the SEAHO region. I would like to share a few excerpts from the recipient's nomination letters. In addition to her excellent supervision abilities, the nominee is a phenomenal advisor to their hall council,
Consistently throughout the past 2 years, they have inspired their Hall Council to do bigger and better things for our community. Their Hall Council has implemented new traditions, reconstructed their constitution, and has been more involved in the conversations surrounding advocacy and identity development. The population in their building is largely composed of white men, and the nominee has effectively engaged them into talking about reevaluating how their identities impact their experience and unlearning biases that they hold. This person was able to start the conversation surrounding cultural appropriation and engage them in dialogue about how an event they were planning to host and could negatively impact members of their community. Please join me in congratulating this year's award winner, Ilriana Garcia.
Good afternoon. My name is Julie McMahon. I serve at the University of South Carolina Upstate. On behalf of the Awards and Recognition Committee, I am proud to present the James C. Grimm Outstanding New Professional Award. This award is presented to a new professional in housing and residential life who is within their first 3 years of professional level employment and has demonstrated outstanding performance to their campus and profession, therefore demonstrating potential for a successful and effective career in housing. I'd like to share a few excerpts from the nominees' letters. A current supervisee shared, "The nominee has served as my direct supervisor and has not only been supportive, empowering, and motivating, but it is clear that they genuinely believe in me and my ability to succeed." Another shared, "The nominee is a hardworking professional that leads with passion in everything that they do. I'm lucky to call this person my supervisor because they make every moment a moment for growth and learning, which is what graduate school is all about. They allow me to reflect on my classes and experiences and help guide me in the right direction to be the best professional I can be." Please join me in congratulating this year's winner, Paige Hicks from the University of South Florida.
Hello, SEAHO. I'm Michelle Seyfried from Middle Tennessee State University, and I am here on behalf of the Awards and Recognition Committee to present the Outstanding Mid-Level Professional Award. This award is presented to a mid-level housing professional who supports and mentors entry-level and support staff, works to recruit students and retain colleagues in the field, and creates new strategies for connecting with students and improving the department while sharing their experience in the field. The recipient should also be involved in state, regional, or national organizations. I would like to share a few excerpts from the recipient's nomination letters. This recipient is intentional about finding the right tools to help the staff he supervises or mentor gain the skills they need to reach their goals. The recipient is selfless with his time and wants nothing more than to see young professionals succeed. He is a great example of what a mid-level professional should strive to be: intentional, approachable, invested, and willing to hold you accountable. Please join me in congratulating this year's award winner, Curtis C.J. Jackson from North Carolina State.
Good afternoon, SEAHO. My name is Brianna Cresswell, and I'm here from Wake Forest University. and I will be presenting about our best ofs in the SEAHO Report Article of the Year. In 2019, we had 50 plus authors who contributed to the SEAHO Report. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. Your contributions to the SEAHO Report allow us to celebrate our victories, learn from our challenges, and connect to our community of peers. And also, they tell our story of the region proudly. We publish 4 editions of the SEAHO Report each year, and from each edition, we choose a best of article. You can see those articles on our scrolling slideshow as you walked in. And these truly incredible pieces of work, we select one final SEAHO Article of the Year. The SEAHO Article of the Year Award, established in 2001, recognizes the talented authors who have taken time to share their expertise with our readers. This award is presented to the best overall feature article of this year. I'm particularly excited to share the winner of this award today, as when I approached this individual to share some expertise with our region, they were unsure, naturally, but willing as always to support our region. Little did they know how much their expertise would impact our delegates and myself. So on behalf of the Awards and Recognition Committee, please join me in congratulating this year's winner. Your Professional Legacy, How Not to Be a Burpee in Someone's Professional Journey by Dr. Stephanie Carter.
Good afternoon, SEAHO. My name is Dylan Rufra, and I'm from Middle Tennessee State University. On behalf of the Awards and Recognition Committee, I am proud to present the Charles W. Bean Memorial Service Award. This award was established in 1982 in memory of Charles Bean, Director of Housing at the University of Mississippi. This award is presented annually to the individual who is judged to have contributed most to the success of SEAHO during the previous year. I would like to share an excerpt from this recipient's nomination letter. It takes so much time and energy and dedication to be a part of the site selection committee. There are constant conversations with convention and hotel teams, conference calls, and conversations with the site selection team, reviewing multiple iterations of contracts, negotiations with many key players in the interest of the organization, and of course, time away from home to complete the necessary visits. Having participated in 3 of the site visits with the nominee, I know for a fact they truly care about the future of this organization in the way that they fully present and aware of the intricacies of the organization in their work of the site visits. I believe that their contributions to the organization are deep, meaningful, and great examples for their commitment to the service beyond self. Please join me in congratulating this year's award winner, Andrea Becker.
Hi, SEAHO. Hi, my name is Kayla Kowalski, and I'm from the University of Central Florida. On behalf of the Awards and Recognition Committee, I am honored to present this year's Founders Award. This award gives special recognition to an individual within the association who, through dedicated service and initiative to SEAHO, has epitomized the work and the endeavors of the founders of the Southeastern Association of Housing Officers, such as Harold Riker, Edith McCollum, John Story, Donald R. Moore, and Raymond C. King. I'd like to share a few excerpts from the recipient's nomination letter. This 2020 conference marks the 30th anniversary of this nominee's SEAHO presidency. They possess a unique spot in our association's history, having been the person who spearheaded one of our most strategic evolutions. It was this person's leadership that took us through the crossroads from our president being both the primary executive and the conference host. Wow. Their vision for how the association could benefit and grow from this change allowed for both positions to evolve and for the association to benefit from having someone who can focus on the day-to-day of making SEAHO a year-round organization and someone else who leads the conference efforts. Please join me in congratulating this year's award winner, Dr. Tony Cawthon.
Yeah, you can stand up. Oh, no, you can go. You can stand up. We can do whatever you want. Good afternoon, SEAHO. My name is Michael Jones. I'm an Assistant Director for Residential Experience at Vanderbilt University and Chair of the Educational Programs Committee. It is with great honor that we recognize our 2020 Faculty in Residence, Dr. Luis Jimenez Inoa. Dr. Inoa is the Associate Dean for the College of Student Living and Wellness at Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, New York, where his portfolio includes the Offices of Residence Life, Health Service, Counseling Service, Health Promotion and Education, and Support, Advocacy, and Violence Prevention. He also chairs Orientation, Bias Incidence Response, and Student Support Network. He earned his bachelor's degree in Black Studies at SUNY New Paltz, his master's in Educational and Psychological Development from Boston College, and his PhD from Educational Policy Leadership from the program at the University of Albany, SUNY. His research includes Latinx community and student engagement, generations of Black feminists, and their commitment to inclusion, care, and conversation inform his work. His professional experience includes being an area coordinator at the University of Miami, an assistant director at New York University, and a senior associate dean of students, and the assistant vice president for student affairs at Skidmore College. Dr. Inoa serves as a Pathways to Success director for the ACUHO-I Executive Board, as well as a director for the inaugural ACUHO-I Leadership Academy. Social justice and equity have been at the core of his work throughout his career. A prime example of this commitment includes his founding of a 4-year program supporting first-year generation, low-income, and undocumented students at Vassar College. Dr. Inoa served as a keynote address for SEAHO-U by commemorating the life of Dr. Martin Luther King and the practice of love in student affairs. He will also serve as a case study judge for our graduate student track, and additionally, be sure to check out his program later today entitled English Tongue, Latinx Soul, where you experience a personal and poetic narrative. This session will benefit those interested in how personal reflection can be expressed and understood through a variety of art forms, including storytelling, music, poetry, and photography. This program session will also benefit those wishing to grapple with the complexities of Latinx identity. SEAHO, please join me in welcoming Dr. Luis Jimenez Inoa as our 2020 Faculty in Residence and his return to the SEAHO region.
Let's give another big round of applause for all of the award recipients, nominations, and the awards committee for all of their work under Nairi's leadership. I have the pleasure of getting to welcome some very special guests to SEAHO 2020. Mariah Niebert, Secure Regional Director, is present. We have with us Scott Bowden and Kelly Davis from the ACUHO-I Central Office. We continue to benefit from a legacy of leadership that has moved SEAHO throughout the years. It is my sincere honor to recognize SEAHO past presidents joining us today. I will ask each of them to stand and ask that you join me with applause after I've announced these wonderful individuals. First up, Tony Cawthon, 1990 SEAHO President. Gary Kimball, 1995 SEAHO President. Paul Yar, 1997 SEAHO President. Shannon Staten, 2000 SEAHO President. Steve Stauffer, 2010 SEAHO president, Kathy Hobgood, SEAHO 2016 president, Jerry Adams, SEAHO 2017 president, Donna McGalliard, SEAHO 2018 president, and Chandra Myrick, SEAHO 2019 president. Please give all of these individuals a big round of applause. I want to highlight that 4 of these past presidents are celebrating significant SEAHO anniversaries since their year as president. You heard about one of them at the beginning. Tony Coffin is celebrating 30 years since SEAHO president. Gary Kimball is celebrating 25 years. Shannon Staten is celebrating 20 years. And Steve Stauffer is celebrating 10 years. All of our past presidents are continuing the tradition of fireside chats on Thursday as a way to continue to develop and connect with our mid-level and upper mid-level professionals from across the region. I want to give a thanks to April Barnes for helping coordinate that effort, and I thank all of you as all of those sessions have been filled and were filled 2 or 3 days after they became open in many ways. Let's give one last round of applause to these wonderful SEAHO mentors. We also have a rich, I'm fortunate to say that we also have a rich history of involvement in the ACUHO-I level from across the SEAHO region. On the screen, you can see the names of those from across SEAHO involved at the ACUHO-I Executive Board level, and those involved in the ACUHO-I Foundation Board level from the SEAHO region. At this time, I would like to welcome ACUHO-I Executive Board members Julie Leos from University of South Florida, Tampa, Kirsten Kennedy from University of South Carolina to share updates from ACUHO-I, followed by our ACUHO-I Foundation Regional Representative, Liz Ingrayo from University of Miami. Please give Julie and Kirsten a round of applause and welcome to the stage.
Whoa, this is a big room. How is everybody? I wrote some notes so I wouldn't forget it. And like a true Gen X / millennial cusp, it's on my phone. Thank you for the warm welcome. I was just looking around and look at all the small details and touches, all of the I was gonna say table tents, but the ornaments in the middle of your table, the decorations are awesome. So whoever put those together, I love it. Like Gavin said, my name is Julie Leos. I'm from the University of South Florida. Can I get a go Bulls? Thank you. I also get the privilege to serve you, our association in our region, as the Regional Affiliations Director. And what that means is I'm a liaison for many of the regions within the U.S. and outside. And so I'm very proud to be able to do that, and proud to be able to serve in that role in the best region in the world. I started in SEAHO long ago, lost my way, I think, but I am back, and it has never felt so good to be home. I was supposed to get an aw or something. Oh my, all right. So ACUHO-I and I believe that strong regions make a strong ACUHO-I. And I am so happy to see so many fine professionals here today. And thank you so much for being here, for investing in yourself, for investing in SEAHO, and investing in our students and our association. It is really important that you are here. So I am going to pass it off to my good friend who has the meat and potatoes. And I've been asked by somebody to remind folks that the Campus Housing Index has closed, and you might be able to receive those reports soon. And so if you have questions about that, David Berland is in the room somewhere. There he is.
All right, so I do think that we are very fortunate to have so much SEAHO representation at the national level, and that's pretty exciting. Something else exciting that's going on at ACUHO-I is a new strategic planning process, which might sound dry, but it's really quite exciting. We've been resting on four basic pillars in ACUHO-I. The first is knowledge resources, the second is influential leadership, the third is community, and the fourth is education. And I have no doubt that through this strategic planning process that those four things will remain, but I think ACUHO-I is really trying to be a couple of steps ahead of the practitioner so that we are anticipating what your needs will be before you've determined that they are a need. That process has been going on since about October, and we've engaged a couple of different professional groups to help us gather data and to help us process and facilitate what our thoughts and ideas are. So I think you should be pretty excited when we finally come out with that. The new strategic plan will begin January in 2021 as this current plan ends in December 2020. There are volunteer opportunities also at the national level. There's an online form, and there are about 25 different things that you might want to be involved in, and many of them don't involve any travel at all. So you can get a professional development experience just by being on one of those committees. So that, I don't want to tell you too much, because tomorrow at 10:15 in the Germantown room, there is a full update from ACUHO-I, and I hope that you will join us there. Thank you.
Hello, SEAHO. Who's excited? Good afternoon. My name is Liz Ingreo, and I currently serve as the Associate Director of Residential Life at the University of Miami. Go Canes. And I also serve as your ACUHO-I Foundation Regional Cabinet member. For more than 30 years, the ACUHO-I Foundation has made a difference in the lives of current and aspiring professionals by funding some of the most pioneering programs and projects that you and your teams have likely benefited from. STARS College, NHTI, an ACUHO-I internship, Best of SEAHO programs, the SHO Institute, Mid-Level Managers Institute, sponsored research, and even just reading the talking stick. The foundation is the only organization that raises money for these initiatives that so greatly impact our work and power our profession. So I'm gonna ask all of you to turn to the person next to you, let's get some energy because that dessert's kicking in, and give somebody a high five at your table. High five in the air. Okay, so think about the energy in the room. We were all real quiet for a while, and now you're all excited, you're invigorated, and really, isn't that a fun way to feel next to you, to be able to camaraderie and talk with people that you know? It's those same feelings that fuel my passion for giving, that invigoration to know that I can give back to something bigger than myself. Why I give to the foundation is so that someone else can have that exact thing when they're up here getting an award, when they're participating in an institute, earning a scholarship or an opportunity, researching innovation in our field, and helping to give to the future of our field. I remember the first time I gave to the foundation was about 7 years ago. I just gave $5 because, let's be real, I couldn't afford an iPad. And so I really, really wanted one. How many of you have done that at ACE? Yeah? I know some of you have, I've seen you. So, but what I have to say is that $5, look where it got me today. I'm standing up here in one of my dream jobs representing the region that I call home. So that little bit goes a long way. And so to commemorate that random moment in my career, because why not, and to help you all create a culture of giving in SEAHO, I want to challenge all of you now to help me do the same. So this year we're launching 2 different campaigns. The first is our Gimme 5 campaign, which is asking each of you to give just $5, just like I did 7 years ago, towards the SEAHO Legacy Fund. This is a fund that will help power the initiatives that Gavin has shared earlier and help all of you move forward in the region. A number of friends from the SEAHO Governing Council and a number, now 5 past presidents, have graciously agreed to match donations. And so what matching means is if you don't give, they don't give. So I need you all to give some money. Our friends at OCM have agreed to match the first $200 given today. So please help me out. If anyone else is in the room is inspired to match, come find me after. So while all this is wonderful, you're probably asking yourselves, like, okay, Liz, I'm gonna give you $5. Where does that go? So most of you, because we have such a huge conference, not everybody has a table tent, but if you do, On the table tent, it'll show you where does your money go. So it's just a snippet of all of the ways that your money will help power the profession. And so we also are super fancy and have Venmo now. So for those of you who tell me your phone is broken, you're lying because you're all on your phones. There is a Venmo code on the table tent that you can go ahead and give now. Just super important if you give through Venmo, because there is another conference happening in SEAHO right now, I need you to put SEAHO in the comments and either give me 5 or whatever you're deciding to give money to. And otherwise, your money will instantly go in. And so if you're not a Gimme 5 person or you're wanting to give some more, we also are doing a raffle. We are raffling off a $250 gift card that was graciously donated by Folio. And we are also giving away a $100 Amazon gift card, a bourbon set. So for my bourbon drinkers, we have a raffle item for you. And some other fun prizes that we'll be giving out at the closing lunch. We'll call them live. If you're not going to be at the closing lunch, give someone you trust that will give you the win if you win, and give them your ticket. We also have our wonderful slate of Parthenon recipients that you can give in honor of at this conference. For those of you who don't know what the Parthenon is, it's an award that's bestowed upon seasoned professionals who have given their time and service to the profession. It is a secret process, so I'm not going to tell you who they are. But if you're interested in knowing who they are or wanting to give in their honor, please come see me at the booth after. I'd be more than happy to share with you who those are. Unless you're that person, then I'm going to lie. I also hope that you will join me on this journey of giving back. Come see us at the foundation booth. We're right across from the corporate partner area and also next to SEAHO 2021, and go stop by their table because they have really cool giveaways. Learn how to volunteer, how to find out about our Parthenon nominees, and also get your Give Me 5 sticker. When you donate, you get a cool sticker that says you gave me 5. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your SEAHO 2020. Thank you.
Hello, SEAHO. It's getting better, I promise. It is. So I have the honor to introduce our keynote speaker. So a lot of people have been talking to you all about networking and getting to know people throughout this conference. One of the things I had the privilege of doing is getting to know our keynote. And when you get to know people, sometimes you get to ask for favors. So I saw him at ACUHO-I and I said, "Hey, I need a favor." And he goes, "What? When?" In February. He's like, "Of 2020? I need a keynote speaker for our conference and you can help me." No? So he said yes, of course, and so he's with us today. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about him and then I'm gonna go sit down and drink some more tea, because this is a mess. So Dr. Alvin Sturdivant is serving at, well, he's serving as the past president of ACUHO-I. He just actually stepped out from that. He serves as the vice president for student development at Seattle University. In his role as vice president, he serves as the senior student affairs officer and provides visionary and administrative leadership for several key departments towards fostering student success, engagement, retention, and an integrated learning experience. Dr. Sturdivant also holds adjunct appointments in the College of Arts and Sciences, specifically in the interdisciplinary liberal studies and sociology, teaching courses associated with multiculturalism, the deconstruction of hate in the U.S. and abroad, and race and ethnicity. Prior to joining Seattle University, Dr. Sturdivant has worked at St. Louis University, the University of Vermont, and Syracuse University. He received his doctorate in educational leadership and policy studies with an emphasis in higher education administration from the University of Vermont, and his Master's of Education and Bachelor's of Art in Psychology at North Carolina State University. Shout out to North Carolina, BT Dub. I can throw that in there. So without further ado, Dr. Alvin Sturdivant.
Good afternoon. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure for me to be here with you all today. For 5.5 years, I served on the ACUHO-I board and was presented with the opportunity to speak all over the world, and yet the most gratifying invitation I received was from LaFerrin. And the reason that I am gratified by that invitation is that you, my colleagues in SEAHO, are providing me with an opportunity to return home, home where it all began for me. So you see, I'm a son of the South, born and raised and educated in North Carolina. And while this is my first SEAHO, my relationship with SEAHO dates back 20 years. In 2000, when my friend and colleague Shannon Staten was the president of SEAHO and the conference was hosted in Williamsburg, Virginia, a much younger, less bald, less gray-haired, and less seasoned version of me received a phone call from Susan Grant, who at the time was serving as the Associate Director of University Housing at my alma mater, North Carolina State University, go Wolfpack, informing me that I had been selected as the SEAHO Graduate Student of the Year. If you had told me then that I would be standing before you today as immediate past president of ACUHO-I, vice president of student development at Seattle University, and after a 20-year career in student affairs, 10 of which were directly in housing and res life, I would have politely smiled and thought you to be absolutely ridiculous. And yet here we are 20 years later into the future. I could have in no way predicted the road I'd travel in those 20 years, that I would be invited to speak here at SEAHO, provided an opportunity to return home, and that I would have something to say that others would find worth listening to. And yet, here we are. I am grateful for the opportunity to be with you all today and to share with you my philosophy on student affairs and our work in housing and residence life in particular, and to discuss the challenges and opportunities I expect we will encounter as we move into the future, particularly as it relates to meeting the needs of students through the 21st century. So what does this all mean? We live in a world that is constantly evolving, constantly changing, a world that requires the kind of leadership, the kind of modeling, and the kind of guidance we all provide to students on a daily basis. Bell Hooks suggests to educate as the practice of freedom is a way of teaching that anyone can learn. That learning process comes easiest to us who teach, who also believe that there is an aspect of our vocation that is sacred, who believe that our work is not merely to share information, but to share into intellectual and spiritual growth of our students, to teach in a manner that respects and cares for the souls of our students is essential if we are to provide the necessary conditions where learning can most deeply and intimately begin. While Bell Hooks is primarily talking about the classroom experience, I think her remarks can also be adapted and extended to the work we do in student affairs and in housing and residence life. Through our work, we have the capacity to transform the lives of students, to create enriching and liberating experiences that provide all students, regardless of their backgrounds and lived experiences, the opportunity to fully engage in the campus and the university experience, the opportunity to thrive. Our work is about making the lives of our students better and more full, to promote the overall well-being of our students as they seek to fully understand who they are in the context of the world they and we inhabit. Our work is about preparing students to engage in self-discovery while also pushing them to understand that the world is bigger than they are, and their role is to help solve the complex issues of today and those we will face in the future, to engage with those who will push them to a greater depth of understanding. We are those people who will push them to those greater depths and those greater heights. And we must do this in an unstable higher education environment, experiencing sharp declines in enrollment. By 2025, the high school graduation class will sharply decline, which forces a sharpened focus on expense containment, resulting in challenges to programmatic and capital investments in all the areas that we're responsible for. Regardless of that, we have to keep focused on education as an opportunity for the liberation of our students. Our work is about meaning making, journeying with our students on the quest to answer the many questions they face. And among them are these: who am I? What is my place in the world? How do I construct knowledge? To that end, our work is also about self-authorship, helping to orient students toward provocative situations that include recognizing the contextual nature of knowledge and balancing this with understanding one's own internally defined beliefs, goals, and sense of self. There are no folks on our campuses better prepared to engage students in this work than those of you in this room. This is what our work is rooted in and what our work is about in housing and residence life. Our work is about authenticity and vulnerability, helping students understand how they show up and their impact on those around them. This is rooted in the identity of our students. It is also rooted in the identities that we hold and how that informs how we engage and assist our students in their growth and development. It is also about helping students discover their voice and providing a space for students to be who they are, while also pushing them to grow and to evolve personally and in their understanding of others and those complex issues they are charged with tackling. Quite honestly, this generation of students will be responsible for solving the ills of the world that we, at this stage, have not been able to. And if we're not adequately preparing them for that task, then what are we really doing? What is our work really about? So as I think about liberation, I think about access and equity and inclusion and inclusive excellence. I think about the opportunity we have to create space where students feel at home. They feel that sense of belonging, that sense of connectedness, and they feel free to fully engage regardless of who they are or how they identify. It is about safe, healthy, productive community where our students can thrive and be successful. Our work should incorporate rigorous and wide-ranging study. It should be values-based. It should encounter worldliness, discussion, and personal reflection. It's a holistic education that attends to the mind, body, and spirit, and that's not just at our Jesuit institutions, like the one that I work at, but at all of our institutions. That it really is rooted in understanding who our students are at the core and giving them the opportunity and the ability to develop holistically on our campuses. And again, there are no folks on our campuses better suited for this work than those of us in housing and residence life. It is also about the big picture and understanding our own place in it and the place of our students in it, and really pushing them to understand how they can shift narratives and shift dominant paradigms such that everyone has the ability to engage in authentic and vulnerable ways. Our work is about community building. I'm going to say that again. Our work is about community building, rich and deep learning, developing opportunities for an engaged campus community and an engaged residential community, for formative and transformative experiences. It is about caring for the physical, the spiritual, the mental, and the intellectual health of our students. Our work must also be about connecting the curricular and the co-curricular, understanding that together we can deliver on the promise of a college education and empower our students to fully engage in all the university has to offer. We can't do this in isolation. We have to work with our partners in academic affairs, with faculty, with the provost office, to fully engage our students in work that matters to who they are, but also to who they are becoming. Failure to blend our work together is a disservice to our students and presents numerous obstacles to creating an integrated and transformative student experience that can breathe life into the university and into the lives of our community members and stakeholders. Connections with faculty in and outside of the classroom transforms the lives of our students. Students, especially our undergraduates, mature and develop best when curricular and co-curricular learning are blended. So our work must be about developing the cultural competence of our students and building their capacity to engage fully with difference. Cultural competence, working locally, regionally, and globally is at the forefront. If we do not acknowledge that and create environments where our students are developing the skills and competencies that give them the ability to engage in this world, then what are we really doing it for? And I say that as a person of color, as a man of color, who has lived in multiple regions in this US and has traveled quite extensively throughout the world and has encountered my own experiences of racism and classism. And I experienced it as early as kindergarten and continue to experience it this day. And so when I think about the work that I do and the work that we do on a daily basis, I'm keeping at the forefront of my mind the why. And the why for me is rooted in my own experiences. It is legitimately about ensuring that students have the same opportunities that I had as an undergraduate student at North Carolina State. I had the opportunity to come out of my shell and my bubble. I was a highly introverted, highly shy student when I attended North Carolina State. And because of folks like Jennifer Wilder, who's somewhere in this room, I was allowed to shine. Because of the investment that was made into me, I was allowed to thrive. Because of the investment that was placed in me, I was liberated from my own understanding, my own narrow understanding of who I had the capacity to be and what I had the capacity to become. And I know that that is the work that we're doing daily on each of our respective campuses. And so I acknowledge that the richness of the university experience is situated in the context of its diversity. That our students must be prepared, as I noted earlier, to fully engage in this world, and for many of them, in a world that is not adequately prepared for who they are. To engage fully with the people of this world, but also to have the comparable skill set to lead in a time when there are many issues that serve to divide us. This is especially important as we move towards the presidential election cycle, which has historically served to divide our campuses in ways that result in increased bias, hate, and vitriol. And if you're not aware of this, Inside Higher Ed and the Chronicle of Higher Education for the last several years have done numerous stories and have tracked the number of bias incidences that are happening on our campus in direct relationship to what's happening in the election cycles. Our work must also be about connecting our students to our universities and enabling in them a sense of community, connection, and pride. It is also about promoting learning, cultivating critical and creative thought, and assisting students in generating knowledge towards the sustainable common good, the common good that we're all working towards. We must commit to helping students acquire knowledge and skills, develop critical thinking skills, a sense of belonging, the assumption of self-responsibility, and the ability to make ethical choices. The university itself is a learning community, a laboratory, if you will, which presents students with the opportunity to explore and engage in experience and problem-based learning. These are transformative ways of learning and growing. Our programs and services must offer students the opportunity to engage in this way if we are to respond to their needs in the changing landscape of higher education in the world. We must shape and cultivate a campus ethos that contributes to a vibrant, collaborative, and diverse campus community that inspires excellence and sustains the university's culture of ethics and social responsibility. Community engagement and service are ways students express passion and purpose for the public good while learning by doing. Connecting students to the world beyond the walls of our universities and community-based opportunities can serve to ignite passions and creates opportunities for students to make meaning of their place in the world and how it relates to those who are both similar and different from them. We also know that life in college matters for life after college. The Gallup-Purdue Index found that student support, experiential and deep learning, on-campus involvement, preparation for post-college life, investments in long-term success, and attachment to alma mater make all the difference for graduates to be engaged in work they find meaningful and to thrive in every aspect of their lives. The work that we're doing right now with students matters for the life that they will have post their time with us. And so it is critical that we invest fully in who our students are becoming. We are obligated to provide the conditions for students to experience transformation. Those experiences include high-impact, intellectual, social, and liberating engagement, deep learning promoted by mentorship, service, and developing and pursuing their passions, micro and macro communities, affiliation, and affinity. Students who are changed by their experience are more prepared to be agents for positive change in the world. This is what the university experience is all about. Our work, specifically in housing and residence life, must be about creating community that challenges and supports every student to develop those skills, that knowledge, and those values that will give them the ability to make life choices and serve as leaders for a just, humane, equitable, and sustainable world. Students must emerge from our experiences of community with a deep understanding and appreciation for the moral, religious, social, physical, and personal dimensions of their and our lives, and how those intersect with one another. Guided by the mission, vision, and values of our respective institutions, we must provide formative experiences which integrate every student's intellect, emotion, and spirit. It is the integrated formation of students for responsible life that we must aspire to create. Our work must be about a cohesive, compelling narrative of growth and development that expresses what is special about the university experience. And it must have maximum impact, engage all of our students and push them to explore, to connect, to commit to something bigger than themselves, and to act according to their goals and their values. Together, we must create the conditions that allow for the full activation of the principles of good practice for student affairs, as it can serve as a template for mapping the road ahead for all of us. We must engage students in active learning, help students develop coherent values and ethical standards, set and communicate high expectations for all of our students for their learning, use systematic inquiry to improve student and institutional performance, use resources effectively to achieve institutional mission and goals, forge educational partnerships that advance student learning, both internal and external to our university communities, and build supportive and inclusive communities. And in order to effectively meet the challenges in front of us, we must pursue a course that engages us in the central mission of our institutions. George Koo and John Shu concluded that only through a renewed understanding of what the institution is and aspires to be, its mission, can administrators, staff, and faculty learn their roles and responsibilities, understand why the institution works the way it does, and develop a shared vision of the institution's future. As stewards of the university experience, we must partner with students and campus colleagues to develop and implement outstanding co-curricular experiences that will engage, prepare, and empower students in their search for meaning and purpose, and to them leading extraordinary and meaningful lives when they graduate. We must create a high-value experience that reinforces student connections with the university and leads to lifelong affiliation and alumni engagement. In our work, we are obligated to fulfill the promise of our student affairs imperative to provide a purposeful, directional, and transformational educational experience for all students, such that students understand their gifts and talents, learn how to direct them in service of the common good, and graduate with an understanding that continuing their search for meaning and purpose will be enriched as they engage in the important work of repairing the world. We can do this by creating those cohesive co-curricular experiences for all students that integrate persistence analytics and that provide clear, supportive pathways for helping students achieve their goals in a timely fashion while bonding with the institution. We must be prepared to address issues of diversity, inclusion, access, equity, and inclusive excellence. And I know I've already mentioned that, but I mention it again because of its importance and significance to our work. We ourselves must be competent to manage the complex issues our students face and must engage in doing the hard work that will enable us to more adequately meet the needs of our more diverse campus and to show up in ways that are meaningful to our students' experiences. We must have a better understanding of decisions we need to make and develop clear means to access and use data in our decision-making, programming, service delivery, and assessment. In our respective departments, we must also identify gaps in our data gathering, in our skill sets, in our awareness, and recommended ways to fill those gaps. We must meet head-on the issue of affordability and the barriers to access and engagement that limit a student's ability to fully participate in the university experience. We must, in that order, develop more evidence-based, high-impact programs and services that lead to healthier, happier, and more meaningful and productive lives with a focus on personal development, academic achievement, retention, persistence to graduation, and on-time degree completion. Again, no one is more suited for this work than those of us who have roots or who currently work in housing and residence life. We must empower through our work healthy decision-making through education, prevention, and peer support, particularly as it relates to the physical, spiritual, emotional, social, and intellectual wellness of our students. This is certainly important as we think about the alcohol and drug issues that are running rampant on our campus and the sexual health and rape culture on our campus. We must be prepared to address issues associated with Title IX and rape culture that permeate many of our campuses. We have a responsibility to our students to ensure they have the capacity to engage with one another in healthy ways and the ability to make safe choices. We must also ensure that our students understand the responsibility they have to one another and know fully their roles as bystanders in responding to issues that impact their peers and colleagues. We must be prepared to respond to the complex and changing regulatory and compliance matters that our institutions are faced with and that place us at risk and our students at risk every single second of the day. Regulations set forth by the numerous governing bodies who guide our work. We must prepare for the increased presence of more underrepresented students and international students on our campuses and for the increasingly global context we work within. We must also focus on increasing the effectiveness of our service delivery through the use of current and emerging technologies. As a field, we must understand how well current technologies are working for us, monitor the impact of technology use on staff time and sustainability, and recommend practices to harness technology as a means to our end of increasing student access and success. We must be prepared for the impact that the ever-changing technology and social media platforms create and the impact it has on our ability to engage with our students. We must evolve in our understanding of technology and incorporate it and use it in our programs and services if we are to stay current and, quite frankly, if we are to stay relevant in the lives of our students. In the context of our commitment to fostering the intellectual, personal, and spiritual growth of students, we must understand and articulate the skills and competencies that employers and graduate schools seek in graduates and design co-curricular experiences that build students' capacities to lead productive, successful lives, but also to be able to speak to those competencies and those skills. I'll use an example. Think about the student leaders that we work with day in and day out who have no desire to go into housing residence life or student affairs as a field or profession, and don't always think about the skills they're developing through those leadership opportunities, whether it be with RHA or as an RA or a desk assistant, that really are preparing them for work in their disciplines. So I challenge you, if you're not already thinking about skill and competency development and communicating the skills and competencies that come along with the work they're doing with you, that you really push in that direction and that you develop some language that expresses to students what is gained by their participation in the work that they're doing in your departments and on your campuses. The challenges ahead of us are daunting and will require some urgency on our part. And there, of course, are many more I've not named that will also require attention and urgency. Each challenge represents an opportunity for us to rethink our approach and to review the programs and services we offer. It is an opportunity to re-envision and reimagine our work so that we can more effectively meet the needs of our students. This is part of our commitment. This is our work. Whatever your role on your campus, in responding to these challenges and opportunities, there are a few things that I think we all must be prepared to do. One, to provide strategic leadership in expanding the diverse and inclusive environments of our universities, developing a bold and cohesive vision for the student experience, working collaboratively alongside faculty, staff, students, and administrators to implement university-wide initiatives. Two, develop innovative and unifying strategies to strengthen the student experience for undergraduate, graduate, and professional students, affording all students the opportunity to develop and reach their personal and professional goals. Three, work with academic leadership across the institution to successfully weave together student affairs, diversity and inclusion, and the academic experience in accordance with the university's strategic planning efforts, and long-term vision. Four, build a strong campus climate that reflects increasing diversity and strength of the university's student body that ensures the support and success for students of diverse backgrounds. And five, coordinating compliance of student-related policies across all units with state and federal regulations in a consistent manner. In responding to the challenges and opportunities, Housing and Residence Life staff, and more broadly, student affairs, must develop a strategic plan that serves as a roadmap for how we will prioritize our programs and services to enhance the holistic, integrated, and transformational university experience for each and every student. Our work as a field is to create sustaining and disruptive innovations of content and delivery that maximize the impact of our initiatives, programs, activities, and services, the impact of our work. Accomplishing this aim requires doing different things, but differently. We must create a culture that welcomes risk and test fast, fail forward experimentation. We must move out of functional silos, and we must embed innovation as an integral part of the work that all of us are doing. We must be strategic and innovative and act with vision, discipline, and courage, as this is no small undertaking for any of us. The work of transforming the lives of students is no small undertaking. But this is what we are called to do. It is what seizes our imaginations, what keeps us up at night, and what gets us up in the morning. Together, we can reimagine the student experience, building on the great work already begun, while achieving at the same time new heights in our work. This calls each of us to think about what is possible, what is within reach, if we think about our work with students as a collective effort, as a partnership with our colleagues all across our respective campuses. It calls us to think about who our students are and who we wish them to become. Father Kovenbach, who was the leader of the Jesuits worldwide and a staunch supporter of higher education, suggested that the real measure of our universities lies in who our students become. Our primary mission is the education and formation of our students for the sake of the kind of persons they become and their wide influence for good in society and their lives. Excuse me. Their lives, their professions, and service. The role we play in preparing students for the challenge of productive and engaged citizenship and empowering students to lead in times of great difficulty is an important one. Robert Kennedy, in a historic speech at the University of Kansas in 1968, observed, "Some people see things as they are and say, why? I dream things that never were and say, why not?" Kennedy calls all of us to lift our expectations and aspire to yet unconsidered greatness. A large part of our responsibility is to encourage students to stretch their imaginations and push their curiosity beyond how things are, to raise expectations and aspirations, and to dream the big dream. We need to help students set forth lofty goals, to ask and answer, why not? We want the college experience to inspire in them a lifetime of achievement and contribution. And we expect our students to make a difference in the lives of others after they graduate. Together, we can all raise our expectations and aspirations to create an academic experience of the highest quality. This is our obligation. This is our collective work. So let's get to it. As Robert Kennedy would say, why not? I feel compelled to share with you the words of writer and spiritualist Oriah Mountain Dreamer. And if any of you attended ACE in Toronto in June, you would have heard these words in some of my remarks. And I share this because when I get up every day, I meditate. And as a part of my meditation, I read 3 to 4 pieces from Oriah Mountain Dreamer: The Invitation, The Dance, The Call, and Moments of Grace. Today, I'm sharing an excerpt with you from Moments of Grace, primarily because when I find myself getting off-center or off-kilter a bit and needing to be recentered and reinvigorated and re-enthused for my work, for my life, I feel grounded in reading this. So it reads as follows: once in a while, we are given moments of real grace. Sometimes during my early morning meditation, a place within me opens and parts of myself let go that I did not even know were holding on. In these moments, I feel all the hard places in my heart and body yield to a great softness carried on my breath, and I am filled with compassion for the part of me that is always trying, always organizing, problem-solving, anticipating. And my mind stops and simply follows my breath. A great faith washes through me, a knowing that everything that needs to get done will get done. My shoulders drop an inch, the small but familiar ache in my chest eases, and the moment stretches. There is enough time, enough energy, enough of all that is needed. A great tenderness for myself and the world opens inside me. And I know I belong to this time, to these people, to this earth, and to something that is both within and larger than all of it, something that sustains and holds us all. I do not want to be anywhere else. I am filled with commitment and compassion for myself and the world. This is the reality we live, aspiring to be our best, longing for and sometimes finding meaning and connection within ourselves and with that which is larger than ourselves. We are undone by messy bathrooms, traffic jams, and burnt toast. I am not interested in spirituality that cannot encompass my humanness, because beneath the small daily trials are harder paradoxes, things the mind cannot reconcile, but the heart must hold if we are to live fully. Profound tiredness and radical hope, shattered beliefs and relentless faith, the seemingly contradictory longings for personal freedom and a deep commitment to others, for solitude and intimacy, for the ability to simply be with the world and the need to change what we know is not right about how we are living. With the heaviness of our work and our future not yet in focus, I wish for all of us the ability to live fully, for all of us radical hope, for all of us relentless faith, and for all of us a deep commitment to others, and for the opportunity to lead in service of our students. The future truly depends on our courage, our leadership, and our vision. And if not us, then who? Thank you all so much. It has been a great honor and pleasure to be with you all.
Can we give Alvin another round of applause, please? Thank you so much. Appreciate the favor, man. This is our announcements portion. I'll make this quick. I also serve as the program chair for this year. Thank you. You're great. So some announcements with regards to programs. Any updates and all those things will come through Guidebook. So you may see some alerts if there's some room changes or times or any of those things, it'll come through there. Something to know about programs in terms of where they are. Most of the programs are on this floor. There's some rooms on this side, as well as starting down here at Clifton, all the way down, okay? If you have questions or get lost, look for someone in one of those blue little host committee friends. Leslie, can you stand up real quick? Thank you. These little, they can help you. If you see me running around as well, they can give you some directions, as well as our volunteers in terms of telling you where to go. Also, we do have some programs that are on the 3rd floor. So if you're looking for wheat, barley, malt, or copper, they are on the 3rd floor. Malt and copper, when you get off the elevator, they are immediately to your, the left. If you did placement, those, you might have been in wheat or barley, so they're down the hallway on that, like you have to go down the hallway and then around the little corner, okay? So remember that those 4 program rooms will be on the 3rd floor. Everything else is here, okay? Another thing, please, before you leave your session, please do the evaluation. That is very helpful for us, and it's very helpful for our presenters to give them feedback, as well as it helps us with our best of SEAHO, okay? If you have any questions or you need anything, any of the volunteers, I'll be moving around. And then our program room and host committee room is actually down here in Hillrick, which is the last room on this end. So if you need something, reach out. Thank you so much.
Thanks, LeBaron. So I have a little bit of housekeeping. Anyone that won an award, our esteemed past presidents group and the executive board, I'd ask you to come up. We're going to take a couple photos on stage before we get going. So again, any of our award winners in the room, past presidents and our executive board, we're going to take a couple photos. With that, I look forward to hearing how all of you bring your future in focus together over the next few days. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Look forward to some excellent program sessions, and have a great SEAHO 2020.